Hi, I'm David Gonzalez and I'm back to show you some of the new features of Mistika VR 886. First of all, I want to thank Ignacio Ferrando from Abaco Digital for allowing us to use his footage for this part of the demo. And we're going to start with the interface. One of the most requested features was the timeline zoom, and you can see it down here now. You can just drag from any of the edges or drag from the center to navigate through the timeline. We've also added a full screen view that you can find here. You can access it by just clicking the button or by double clicking at any time on any part of the image. You can go back to the normal view by pressing escape or double clicking again. We've added some extra overlays like the stitch info you can find by right clicking, show info, and you will get it down here in the bottom right corner, or you can overlay the source timecode onto the storyboard. As you can see here, I have an edge point. As soon as I click it, I see now its information in a dedicated panel down here. When I hit play, I can see a green bar that starts growing, and this represents the frames that have already been cached into the RAM. You can expect these frames to run much smoother, both in playback and manipulation of the stitch, and the more RAM you have, the better. If you're short on RAM, trying to restart Mistika VR whenever you change to another rig or source resolution, so that you can free up the RAM and start clean. Let's move on into media management now. In Mistika VR 886, we've added a relink option. So every time you open a sequence with missing media, Mistika VR will prompt you to locate that media. This is the media that I'm missing, and I just need to find it down here in the browser. Make sure I click the right clip, the skate, and as soon as I leave this option ticked, Mistika VR will try to use this rule for all the other missing shots in the timeline, so there's no need to go relinking one by one. As simple as that. And the good thing is that this feature isn't just a simple relink. It works in combination with path translation, which means that the relinking is local to your system. You wouldn't need to relink all over again when you return to the original computer if that's the case. Let's go back to the main timeline so that I can show you a few new parameters that we have added. The first one is forward distance, and this is pretty similar to what convergence does, but it will act less on the poles and more on the horizon. Give it a go and let us know what you think. For the other one, I'm gonna move to the next shot. I want to thank Nick Mechanic from RVLVR for allowing us to use the footage. This has been shot with the Setcam K1, and I can show you here the coaxial distance. Coaxial distance is meant to work on parallel rig setups like 180 degrees rigs or the views or the Samsung round, for example, and it will try to correct disparities on the far sides of the lenses, so on the very right side and the very left side. You can see what it does. It doesn't affect the center too much and change the scale on the sides itself. On this new version, we're also able to read more calibration metadata from more cameras. We previously were able to read Candao calibration metadata. We're now adding Insta360 Pro, Nokia also, and Facebook Surround. I have a shot from Insta360 Pro. This was shot by Miguel Tejerina from Contrasentido PC. I've already loaded the preset, but there are some disparities in the camera, so I can just go into Stitch, import Stitch, and navigate to where the metadata is saved and open it. You can see that the stitch has improved dramatically already. Just for fun, I'm gonna show you Nokia also as well, using footage from Paul Wolf from Inception VR. So with the same process, I just go into import stitch, in this case navigate to my Nokia also folder and load the first frame metadata. You can see how it clicks into place, and we get a very good stitch already, just using the original metadata that comes with the camera. As you already know, Mistika VR is very fast, and we're always trying to tackle down the bottlenecks. We found that many times it's the encoding process that makes Mistika VR run slower, and that's the reason we love NVIDIA hardware encoding. So now, apart from the previous modes that we had, we also have QP modes. These modes prioritize quality over bitrate, so you will end up with a variable bitrate file that actually keeps a constant quality for each frame. You can configure the quality here in config, the highest quality will be 1 and the lowest will be 51. We can say that from 1 to 5, we will get a visually lossless clip, and if we combine that with a GOP size of 1, this should do a pretty friendly file for editing. For delivery, I've used a GOP size of 15 and a quality in between 20 or 25, and I get reasonable size of the files with a very good quality. In any case, just give it a go and see what fits you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.